The Cincinnati Reds have a brand new TV deal that is going to be a major improvement for fans, but it is confusing as hell. The Reds and MLB are claiming that the blackouts are over, but I'll explain why that's actually probably a little bit misleading. My name is Nick Kirby, and I co-host the Chatterbox Reds podcast, and I'm here to break it all down for you today. Well, the Reds officially announced that their games will be produced by Major League Baseball starting this season in 2026 on what is being called Reds.TV. The Reds are not alone, as now exactly half of Major League Baseball, 15 teams, are going to have their games produced by MLB as the fall of the regional sports networks continue. The Reds, they had been on a regional sports network since 1991 when they started on what was called SportsChannel Ohio, eventually Fox Sports Ohio, then Bally Sports Ohio, then FanDuel Sports Network. So now comes along Reds TV. Reds TV will broadcast to most, if not all, of the same cable providers as in previous years, and then in addition, you can stream the games using the MLB app for basically the same price as you could last year with FanDuel Sports Network. I'll explain all of that shortly. Now, when we say TV deal, we're talking about the bulk of the Reds games that are broadcast for local viewers. The Reds do have 3 games on National Fox and 4 games on Peacock. One of those are also on National NBC. Those are exclusive games, meaning your Reds TV subscription will not get you access to those games. The Reds also have 7 games on Fox Sports 1, but those games are simulcast, so you will be able to watch those also on Reds.TV. You'll have both options if you have Reds TV and cable. The MLB also has deals with Netflix and ESPN, but the Reds do not have any games other than a spring training game on ESPN, but even that is simulcast on MLB TV. There is the possibility of Reds games getting flexed nationally, but you should be getting at least 150 plus games with Reds TV. There is still also the possibility that some local games could get simulcast onto a local channel. In Cleveland, for example, they have 10 games on Guardians TV that are going to be broadcast on their local NBC affiliate. So could local WLWT, could they pick up some Reds games or someone else? We will wait and see on that, but that is a possibility. So what does this mean for you? Well, first, you have to determine if you are in or out of the Reds TV market, as that means 2 very drastic and different things on how you would purchase and watch the Reds in 2026. The Reds TV market, we got to establish that first. It includes most of Ohio, basically excluding Northeast Ohio, aka Cleveland, Akron, and Canton. All of Kentucky is Reds country, part of Reds TV. All of Indiana, except for the 5 counties in the northwest corner that's close to Chicago. Western and central West Virginia, so that's Charleston, Huntington, and Beckley, but not Morgantown, Parkersburg, and Wheeling. Those are Pirates. That's Pirates territory. The entire state of Tennessee. That's kind of wild, but the entire state is covered under Reds TV. Western North Carolina, that's Charlotte, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem, but that's not Raleigh and Durham. And then 15 counties in northern northwest Mississippi. So hopefully you got all of that. Those are inside the Reds TV market. You have to have a specific Reds package for that. Now, if you're outside of any of those areas, anywhere else in the country, whether you're in Colorado or you're in Washington or you're even in New York, you are not in Reds territory. You are outside the Reds market. So what happens for you? Well, nothing is changing at all for you if you watched Reds games before outside of the Reds market. You continue watching via MLB TV or MLB Extra Innings. I know that's almost probably defunct at this point. That was the cable, or is still the cable provider for MLB games. Same access as before, as long as you are auto-renewing. Now, if you are a new MLB TV user, now you have to go through ESPN. They've partnered with the ESPN Unlimited, their new streaming service. Now, it's the same thing. You're still going to watch on the MLB app. You can also watch on ESPN. Personally, I think you're going to want to watch on the MLB app because it's significantly better. But you do have to go through them. And then you also, if you are a non-ESPN Unlimited subscriber, you have to cancel that subscription after you sign up. It's a little bit of a hoop to jump through, but not that big of a deal. That price is still the same as before. It is $150 or $30 per month. And then if you have T-Mobile, you can get MLB TV for free. They haven't announced the date yet, but in 2025, it had to be redeemed between March 25th through March 31st. Now, more on this later, but sadly, that only works for out-of-market games, so it will not work for the Reds if you're in the Cincinnati Reds TV market. Now, if you are in Chicago or Denver or anywhere else, Texas, T-Mobile free will work if you have T-Mobile free MLB TV. And then I also have one more tip for you out-of-market folks that have to purchase MLB TV at the end. Now, if you're inside the Reds TV market, which is I assume is probably the bulk of people watching this, if you're a Reds fan, you're probably somewhere in any of that region. I'm going to tell you all about that, but first, let's have a quick word from our sponsors. Deep South Commodities is a proud supporter of Chatterbox Reds and our Deep Drive of the Day, and DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks as always to our friends at DSC. And we also want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between, it's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. All right, so if you're inside the Reds TV market, you're going to have new viewing options, especially if you are a cord cutter. So let's start off with those who still have cable, who watched the Reds on cable last year. That's probably a lot of people. There's not likely going to be any real changes for you. You're not likely going to be impacted, but we don't have anything official yet. The Reds are expected to reach agreements with providers such as DirecTV, Spectrum, AT&T, and Fubo, the same providers they had last year. They're expected to get that, but at this time, there's no official deals that have been put through yet. Once they get on those channels, and I would assume those channels are very motivated to keep the Reds because that was probably a big reason why people had those cable providers before, the games will likely be aired on a dedicated channel that's literally only for Reds games. So it will be a channel, it's literally just the Reds pre- and post-game show, more on that in a minute. But that's it. It's just the Reds games. They'll have a channel. But again, we have no providers yet, so we have no channels yet. But again, the Reds on their website, they have a pretty good explanation of all this stuff, and they'll have the channel numbers on there when they are there. But again, we do not have any official providers yet. My assumption here is that there's kind of a game of chicken with these providers. Reds trying to get the best deal they can, and they may kind of get this closer to opening day. Wouldn't be surprised if like 2 days before opening day, the last provider signs and whatnot, because, both sides want to get the best deal. And without, if you're trying to do it right now, you'd probably get more leverage later on when it gets closer to the season and you're wanting all this. So I'd be patient with that. I know it's probably going to be frustrating if it's a week before the season and you don't know if your cable provider has the Reds or not, but I would be patient on that. Now, there is some good news. Reds TV, the streaming version, is free during spring training. And there's no credit card required either, which is pretty cool. You don't have to go put in a credit card and cancel your trial later. It's just straight up free during spring training. So if you have a cable provider, I'd recommend you just wait until you get closer to the season to confirm your provider has the Reds, and then just try to stream the spring training games using the MLB app. More on that. I'll explain that a little bit more here in a minute. Now, note this is probably a big question. YouTube TV and Hulu Live TV, very unlikely to carry the Reds. Both providers have pretty much stayed away from local sports teams to keep their rates down. They're just focused on the national channels. So I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if the Reds got on YouTube TV or Hulu. If you're waiting for that, I don't think that's going to happen. So what is the pricing? We're just talking about the Reds. I'm not talking about your cable packages. You'll have to go figure that out yourself. Now, what is the pricing for Reds TV, the streaming package version? It is $99.99 for the full season or $19.99 per month. So that's less than $1 per game. So a pretty good bargain, in my opinion, on that. Now, if you want the Reds and you want all the other baseball teams, it's a lot more. It is literally double. It's $39.99 per month or $199.99 for the full season. A couple notes on that. The Reds only package, the Reds TV package, will give you access to minor league games and the MLB Big Inning, which is basically kind of like NFL Red Zone. Airs around 8:30 on most nights. Pretty cool, honestly. I really enjoyed watching that. I would watch that a little bit here and there when the Reds weren't playing or they played a day game or whatnot. Pretty cool. The Reds plus MLB TV package will get you both of those also. And in addition, you get MLB Network streaming and radio broadcast for all MLB teams. Now, you can also get that for $6 a month. They have this other thing called MLB Plus, which includes MLB Network, MLB Big Inning, and MLB Radio broadcast for only $6 a month. So if you're someone who actually just wants to listen to the Reds games on the radio, for the most part, maybe watch some highlights later, maybe watch a few games that get put on MLB Network. Reds have a lot of games that'll get put on MLB Network. You can do that for $6 a month on its own. So that's another option as well. All right, now a couple important subscription notes here. If you live inside the Reds market, a regular MLB TV subscription will not give you access to the Reds games. This is what I was talking about with the blackouts. The whole blackouts are over. It's kind of a bit misleading. If you just get that regular MLB TV package, it's not going to give you access to the Reds games. You must purchase either the standalone Reds package or the bundled MLB package that included Reds TV. The free MLB TV subscription offered by T-Mobile will also not include Reds games for in-market viewers. And the really annoying thing here is, I believe if you're in the Reds market and you want to use that free T-Mobile just to watch other games, just to watch the Cubs or the Brewers, kind of check on our NL Central foes, you're going to probably have to have two separate accounts, and you're going to have to log back and forth between the two, which is incredibly annoying. I don't think there's a way to link those together. Obviously, I can't find anything about that now because they're not even offering the free T-Mobile MLB TV package yet. So that's a really brutal thing if you were someone that maybe last year you watched the Reds on FanDuel streaming, you paid the $20 a month, and then you would have the MLB. You just go between apps, but you actually have to log in and log out, I believe. So kind of a pain there. So again, this is what I'm talking about with the blackouts over thing. Kind of a bit misleading. You're still bound to a specific plan, and if you're in a certain market, you'll get blacked out if you don't meet those needs. So one way of looking at it is, you're getting kind of a little screwed because it's $50 more for being in market if you want the full MLB package. You want the Reds plus the MLB TV. Yes, sort of, but 2 years ago, you'd only be able to watch through a cable provider. There was no standalone packages. That would have cost you $300 a summer, and you'd still be paying that $150 for MLB TV. So really, that $200 package would have been probably about $450 a couple years ago. So that is one way of looking at it. I think that also gives a lot more people access to the Reds. It's going to be a little bit confusing for a lot of people. A lot of people probably have a hard time with this at first, but I think eventually this will be a very good thing, and I think long-term, a much healthier option long-term. So how do you watch this? If you're not familiar with the MLB app, there's probably some people out here that don't really use the MLB app. They just have watched on their cable provider, maybe want to try the streaming option. So you use the MLB app. That's where you'll use Reds TV. There's not its own Reds TV app. There is the MLB app that you'll log in with your credentials. It's available on just about every type of device you could possibly imagine. If you have a Roku TV, it'll be on there. It's on Fire Stick, Apple TV, iOS, that's Apple devices, Android, PlayStation, and Xbox. Just about anything that you stream, Netflix or Hulu or maybe YouTube watching me right now, that will have the MLB app, and you can watch it on there. Now, some changes in terms of the actual broadcast here. The Reds haven't officially announced anything, but based on what other teams have done last year, the pre- and post-game shows will be quite a bit different. So the Guardians, who are on the exact same plan as the Reds, as we mentioned earlier, they already announced that they're going to have a 30-minute pregame show for all home games, but no pregame shows at all for road games. They just go straight into the game, maybe like 10 minutes before, like where you would see John Sadak come in. That's probably where the Reds would do for the road. I'm assuming the Reds would do the same thing. I would assume the Reds are probably going to want to keep the home pregame shows because they do have that obviously that really nice studio down on the third base side of the field. It seems like it's a big part of being a Reds fan is going and seeing that. So I would imagine they try to do that for the home games, but unless they do something completely different, I don't think there was any of these MLB-produced teams last year that had full post-game shows when they were on the road. Or pregame shows, I'm sorry. The post-game shows, those for the Guardians, they're only 15 minutes long. So basically it's game ends, quick little recap from from John Sadak or whatever. They usually go down and they would maybe play Terry Francona's interview and maybe an interview with the player, and then that's it. See you later. So not a whole lot there. Now the good news is, well, you're here on Chatterbox Reds. We have you covered. We do post-game shows after every single Reds game, and there's no commercials. There's nothing. It's just Reds fans yapping about the game. Nothing has to be, polite. We can say it how it is. So just come join us on Chatterbox Reds on YouTube. This is great. I've told people this is great for us. I mean, I think more people might tune into our post-game show. So we've got you covered here. The broadcasters, we believe everyone is returning except for Annie Sabo. She already announced that she's not returning. Annie Sabo is a part-time on-field host, but with there's another clue to where I definitely don't think they're going to be doing post-game shows or pre-game shows on the road. That Annie Sabo didn't come back. Everyone else, like Jim Day, has quite a bit of different roles. He obviously does some play-by-play. Sam LeCure, he also has done some color analysts. So those guys might be reduced a little bit, but they did some other things as well. So we believe everyone is coming back. We haven't heard anything else otherwise. Now, the actual production value, this is where I think you're really going to like this a lot. If you haven't watched any games that are produced by MLB, if you've watched games that are produced by MLB Network, not the games that you see like that are streaming from a FanDuel channel before, but they're actually like they call it the MLB Network showcases or a playoff game that was on MLB Network. It's going to look very similar to that in terms of the layout, the scoreboard, all of that sort of stuff. But they have like some really cool things: ump cam, wire cam, live look-ins to the replay center, in-game player interviews, a national-style graphics package. I thought the graphics package was significantly better than FanDuel from the games that I watched, so I am excited about that. All right, we do have the spring training, I guess, first draft schedule that has been posted. I would expect there probably will still be some more games added. MLB Network has not announced their schedule of games. I think there might be some other teams that add some additional games. But we know that the Reds opener will be broadcast. That is on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, February 21st at 3:05 p.m. It'll be on Reds TV. Again, that is free. So all you have to do is have an MLB account, You can sign up. It's really easy. You can watch that, again, on any smart device or on your computer, laptop, phone, anything. You can watch it on there. It'll be a whole week before we think we'll have another game. That'll be the Reds and the Brewers. That is Saturday at 3:10 on Reds TV. And then there is a total of 10 games that will be broadcast. One of them is an ESPN game. That's against the Dodgers on March 5th. Also broadcast on MLB TV. That's the Dodgers broadcast. Now, when they say the Reds TV is free, they're not saying MLB TV is free. But based on previous years, MLB's been very lax with the MLB TV during spring training. They've had a lot of free games. My guess is there's so many new teams this year. I don't think they're going to maybe announce it because I think they want people to sign up for this. But my guess, I'm just guessing here, I think they'll probably make spring training games completely free, at least on the watching side. They might the radio. There's in years past the radio, because I'm actually out of market. I live in the Cleveland area. The radio has been blacked out for me sometimes where you had to have a subscription, but the games haven't been, which I know is kind of weird. But that's what I would maybe anticipate. So there's a couple other games on March 8th and March 12th against the Padres and the Dodgers that are MLB TV games. They weren't announced with that layout of Reds TV games, and I don't know exactly the reason why that is, but I think you should still be able to watch those streaming. Maybe they didn't announce those games because, especially with the Dodgers are on a Sportsnet LA is their cable provider, getting paid $1 billion for their TV that goes through 2038 while we're all taking the crumbs. But nonetheless, non-side tangent aside, I don't know if maybe the Reds can get those rights if they get a cable provider, if they start getting some of these cable providers and they start putting some of these spring training games on a cable channel, and that's why they can't announce it as Reds TV. Again, very confusing. This will be something we have to kind of watch in flux as spring training goes on. Once the regular season goes on, it should be pretty much straightforward. Spring training, though, is a little bit up in the air. All right, one other important note for out-of-market folks, something maybe to consider, is you will be blacked out if the Reds play whatever market you're in. So, for example, if you're living in St. Louis or Milwaukee or either of those teams' market, you're going to have the Reds games blacked out. So you may want to, when you're looking through these packages, if you're in St. Louis or Milwaukee, you may want to consider actually choosing the Cardinals TV plus MLB TV. That'd be $50 more, but the Reds play the Cardinals 12 times. Same thing with the Brewers. So is 12 games worth $50 to you? I guess that's maybe how you view it. Now, maybe if you live in somewhere like Denver where they're only going to play 6 times, maybe you wouldn't do it. You also might be able to strategically, I did this last year, might be able to strategically set up some free trials, like Fubo does some free 5-day trial. Some of the other cable providers might have a free trial. Heck, even Cardinals.tv might have a free trial if you sign up with a different account. So maybe that's something you look at strategically, but you'll have to kind of plan that out a little bit as the season goes on. Well, I hope that you like this video. Hopefully, I helped give you a little bit more clarity on Reds.tv and this new cable package, streaming package. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them or try to find you an answer on them. I kind of have watched this stuff and followed this whole streaming. I'm kind of fascinated by it, so I don't know have all the answers, but I do have a weird sick knowledge of some of this stuff, so I'll do my best to answer it. And please like the video. We'd really appreciate if you did that. Chatterbox Reds available everywhere you get podcasts, so please check that out. We do post-game shows after every single Reds game during the regular season live on YouTube, but during spring training, we do podcasts the morning after every single game. Those are audio only. Well, if some of the videos still get posted on YouTube, but the bulk of the podcast will be audio only. But starting Saturday, Sunday morning, we'll have a podcast recapping the game on Saturday. Me and Trace will actually be live on YouTube. We'll put that up in podcast form. But then every single morning during spring training, we'll have a recap of the game before. We'll discuss any Reds news that happened. Some interviews. We'll post the audio from that. And we'll keep you updated all throughout spring training leading up to opening day. Hopefully a exciting season for our Cincinnati Reds. Well, until we talk again, my name is Nick Kirby. As always, go Reds.